Donald Trump made news yesterday when he strangely said that he's going to go confront, or wants to, or probably is going to go confront E. Jean Carroll, and will probably go to the rape civil trial that is about to conclude, though. We'll get to that clip in just a moment. The reason this is strange is because the lawyers of Trump are saying that's not actually going to happen. So right now, Trump's in Ireland, and as we've talked about on the show, a civil trial is going on in New York for defamation and sexual battery. Accusations, of course, against Trump by E. Jean Carroll, accusing him of raping her in a Bergdorf Goodman apartment store in the 1990s. As a reminder to the viewers, this being a civil trial means that Trump couldn't be criminally charged, arrested, or anything like that, but may have to pay out money depending on what the jury finds. I also noted during a previous segment on this that also means the jury only has to find it more likely than not that Trump is guilty of the things he's being accused of based on the evidence. They don't have to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So a lower threshold there. But with all that being said, Trump got asked about this trial while he was on a golf course in Ireland yesterday and said this.
I have to leave Ireland and I have to leave Scotland, where I have great properties. I have to leave early. I don't have to, but I choose to.
Will you attend the trial, Mr. President?
I'll probably attend, and I think it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that it's allowed to happen. It's called false accusations against a rich guy, or in my case, against a famous, rich, and political person that's leading the polls by 40 points. And I have to go back for a woman that made a false accusation about me, and I have a judge who's extremely hostile. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to confront this woman. This woman is a disgrace, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen in our country.
So you saw it there. He says he plans to end his trip early and show up to the trial to testify or something. I guess that's the only thing that would mean. But as USA Today writes, attorneys for E. Jean Carroll rested their rape and defamation case against Donald Trump on Thursday, while Trump denounced the lawsuit as bogus and claimed he would attend the proceedings, though his lawyers announced just hours later that they would also rest their case without calling any witnesses. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan said he would give Trump until 5 p.m. on Sunday to request a reopening of the case for the purpose of testifying. Kaplan didn't say whether he would grant such a request. Otherwise, final arguments in the case are scheduled for Monday. So his lawyers are saying they're going to rest the case, and they're not planning on calling another witness, so they wouldn't be calling Trump. But Trump's saying he's going to go and confront E. Jean Carroll. What's going on, Josiah?
Typically it's constant stream of consciousness from Trump, where he just says whatever comes to mind. Obviously, you heard him. It's incoherent braggadocio. I think obviously he needs to defer to the expertise of his lawyers, because even though it's a civil case, he can suffer the pains and penalties of perjury. If he takes the stand, he has to take an oath. He has to answer the questions under oath. And if he's contradicted, that's not good for him. And he's also open to cross-examination from E. Jean Carroll's attorneys. So it makes sense that his attorney's like, oh, absolutely not. We rest. We have no intention of asking him to take the stand.
Yeah. And actually, Joe Tacopina got asked directly about this and said, is Trump coming to testify? And he said no. After this clip, reporters were saying, what's going on? And he said, no, there's no plans for that. So then what's some other form of confrontation? He's just going to go wait outside the court and be like, I'm ready, E. Jean Carroll. What the heck?
I have no idea. He'd probably defer to his usual method of confrontation, which is he's going to truth social or troth essential, all of his grievances with whoever he happens to have an issue with at the time. So I imagine that's what he'll do.
Maybe. But we did talk about previously on the show the trial, and I think that E. Jean Carroll's lawyers have made a very convincing case for Trump having done what he's being accused of. They have two people who said under oath that she told them back when it happened, and her testimony, and then Trump's side is just not really provided much of a defense, other than kind of questioning, of course, trying to poke holes in E. Jean Carroll's story. Have you been keeping up much with the trial, Josiah?
A little bit, but I mean, the commentary that I've heard is from legal experts like Glenn Kirshner and I think Barb McQuaid on Twitter, and they've essentially concluded the same thing. Like you said, it's a civil case, so the threshold for to convince a jury is considerably lower. Number one, that works against Trump. Number two, E. Jean Carroll has corroborative witnesses that she told years ago, right? And as you said, they say so under oath, under the pains and penalties of perjury. That's a solid case against Trump, who, by the way, doesn't like evince public trust. Like, even a lot of Trump supporters know that this man is not a beacon of honesty. So it's a real uphill battle for his attorneys.
100%. And one of the things I said talking about this previously is it is really impossible not to have, while you're observing the events of the trial, the words of the Access Hollywood tapes just playing on a loop. Him saying that he just grabs women by the genitals, and that's exactly now that and more what he's being accused of. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, they had an individual, a woman, who testified that he groped her in the past on a plane, setting kind of the precedent and showing that this is a pattern, at least as far as the accusations are concerned. And they're not calling any witnesses on the Trump side. And so all the defense is kind of trying to go after E. Jean Carroll's story, but it seems
Which
convincing,
I imagine
so
doesn't
he could
play
lose.
well to a jury anyway. You know what I mean? Like, when you go after witnesses in a situation like this, I imagine that that's not going to win the jury over in any respect. So,
Yeah, totally agree. Hey, before you go, Josiah here, good friend of mine, has had a YouTube channel, but now it's come alive. He's launching it 2.0. And thus, I want to use kind of the outro video today to say, go subscribe to his channel. Tell them why, Josiah.
So if you like progressive values married with pragmatic policy, and you like the Republican Party being called out for the threat they are, I'd appreciate it if you throw me a like and subscribe at youtube.com/ponderingpolitics, one word.